Hello learners, in this particular deliberation we are going to learn a completely new idea which is called bibliographic relationship based navigation inside library OPAC. In this particular series of deliberation related to enhancement of OPAC right from the generation 1 to generation 5, we are dealing with the number of enhancements presently happening all over the world inside the library OPAC. So this particular deliberation under that OPAC enhancements group deals with the possibility of bibliographic relationship inside a library catalog or library OPAC. Now the question comes, what is bibliographic relationship? Presently the new cataloging code, you all know RDA, they said categorically that the entire bibliographic universe is based on three primary elements: entity, attributes of an entity, attributes means important characteristics or features, and the relationship between the entities. So bibliographic relationships are coming in a big way, and library automation system, the major or the main retrieval system like library OPACs are trying to take full advantage of this bibliographic relationship based navigation. Now why this become so much of importance recently? Because all of you know that IFLA came up with a new model that is called LRM, library reference model. In that particular model they have integrated FRBR, functional requirements for bibliographic records, FRAD, functional requirements for authority data, and FRSAD, functional requirements for subject authority data. So all these three, actually the first of these three came in 1998, FRBR. Then sequentially they have developed FRAD and FRSAD. But in 2016 they merged all these three into a singular standard which is called library reference model. In this particular library reference model, they introduced, IFLA actually introduced two new user tasks. One of them is to explore. Now what does it mean? To explore means to support serendipity in information seeking. And again, what does that mean? That means that a library catalog should relate all the entities available inside the cataloging data sets or cataloging database, so that users at the retrieval interface can navigate from one resource to other related resources, and thereby can explore and thereby can discover different kind of related resources which are typically not available presently in a library, inside a library catalog. So let us move towards the presentation of first. Then after the presentation is over, when the basic things are clear to you, then we will be moving towards the practical demonstration. We developed a particular prototype for this particular demonstration so that you can see what is actually happening inside library OPAC on the basis of the new user task proposed by IFLA LRM, library reference model. So let us move. So this is basically the title of this deliberation, that bibliographic relationship based navigation, a possibility in library OPAC. Now first of all we need to clear what is a bibliographic relationship. So bibliographic relationship, the term first coined by Barbara Tillett in 1987. Barbara Tillett was the director of library automation group in Library of Congress. She in her PhD work first proposed the concept of bibliographic relationship, and the relationship actually refers to the connections and association between two or more than two bibliographic items. Now we can give one a particular example, say how the second edition of a book is associated with the first edition of a book. An item within a series generally produces lot many items. So an item within a series is connected with the series as part or part whole relationship, or maybe whole part relationship. So in this way, we can view bibliographic relationship as a cementing factor inside the library catalog, which actually connecting the dots. You all actually pass through this particular exercise in your childhood days, where a particular picture appeared if only you connect the dots as instructions. Say for example 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6 in this way, and finally when you are connecting the dots, a larger picture appeared magically. So we all enjoyed this kind of connecting the dots inside our during our childhood days. So bibliographic relationship you can view in the same way. It's a cementing factor which is actually connecting the dots, and dots you may consider as entities inside a library catalog. Before starting bibliographic relationship, let me explain here how technologies actually influenced the movement of library catalog, the journey of library catalog right from the days of Paniji to till date. So I am starting from the decade of 70s, the start of computerized catalog. So ISBDs, you all know, appeared first in the decade of 70s to take advantage of using low cost PCs in cataloging. As I said, that library catalog is always technology centric. We changed our objectives, our policies, our principles, our data models, everything based on the available technologies. So as ASER was not quite accommodative to have ISBD as bibliographic data model, so a new cataloging code came, ASER 2. ASER 2 developed only to include ISBDs to support computerized cataloging. Then in the mid 70s, new technology started coming. You all know that relational database management system. Now relational database management system merged with year modeling exactly in the year 1976 theoretically, but the actual product started coming in the mid 80s. So during that particular time, integrated library systems or library automation software, which we have covered in earlier deliberations or earlier demonstration, started taking the advantage of RDBMS at the back end. Now why we utilized RDBMS like MySQL, MS SQL, PostgreSQL at the back end of our ILSs? The reason is very simple. For modules integration, we started integrating different modules like acquisition module with the cataloging module with the circulation module with the OPEC module, and so on. So this kind of module integration started happening inside integrated library system. You all know from the third generation of library automation packages with the advent of relational database management system at the back end. But we utilized RDBMS only for modules integration, but not for data modeling. Data modeling, we still use the flat based data architecture like ISBDs. ISBDs are nowhere may be considered as an ER data modeling. So meanwhile, to take the full advantages of backend RDBMS, our data model in place of ISBDs need to be ER modeling compatible. So first such bibliographic data model developed by IFLA in the year 1998, which is actually known as FRBR, Functional Requirements for Bibliographic Record. Then a series of such standards came, one for authority data, one for subject authority data. But in 2016, IFLA integrated all these three related bibliographic data model into a singular set, which is called LRM, Library Reference Modeling. On the other hand, Library of Congress also developed BibFrame, BibFrame 1.0 first, then BibFrame 2.0 next. So BibFrame is also FRBR like modeling, bibliographic data modeling. It is also taking into consideration ER modeling application in the bibliographic domain, just to take the full advantage of RDBMS. Now RDA, as the history repeats itself, ASER 2 developed to accommodate ISBDs, RDA developed to accommodate FRBR and FRAD as backend bibliographic data model. So similarly, ILSs now are also changing to take the full advantage of LRM model, BibFrame model and RDA cataloging code. So we are changing from ILS to LSP, Library Service Platform, for incorporating RDA and other workflow integration activities. So, what next, that we are going to discuss. But as I told you that RDA recently announced that entire bibliographic universe is basically a trinity. So, this is the example of trinity: entities, the relationship between entities, different kind of relationship, and entity, each entity is having attributes, that is the important characteristics, features, important properties. So, this is called trinity of bibliographic universe. Now, is that a new concept, bibliographic relationship? Not at all. The term first coined by Barbara Tillett, but conceptually it was there right from the time of Paniji. Paniji first suggested cross references be used to display bibliographic relationship in his 91 rules, and there were actually, according to Paniji, there were 3 types of cross references: from name to name cross reference, from name to work cross reference, and from work to work cross reference. Paniji also pointed out the bibliographic relationship between different editions and version, translation, etc. of the particular work. So, Paniji's cataloging rules include 2 very important concepts in the context of the present generation cataloging rule. One is the work, another one is the cross references, not bibliographic relationship per se, but conceptually cross references is related to bibliographic relationship. Next came Carter with a new term called collocation. If you go through the objectives as set by Charles M. E. Carter in 1876, till date his objectives of cataloging holds true for library OPAC related to provided over the OPAC or provided through a local area network. So, if you go through these 3 objectives, you can see that first one is related to the finding function of a catalog, to find a book, but the last 2 one is basically related to the collocation. So, a typical catalog has got 2 functions. One is the finding functions, which is supported by the first objective as proposed by the Carter, and second function is the collocation, which is supported by the second and third objective as given by Carter. Carter explicitly stated about collocation, the need of collocation as objectives of a library catalog. He designed his code to describe bibliographic relationship between items in the then prevailing form of catalog, like notes, references, uniform titles, specification of edition, collation, etc. All are nothing but different kind of different kinds of devices to support collocation. He never used the term bibliographic relationship, but that time it was known as collocation. But the Carter never distinguished between the idea of a book and the idea of the work in formulating in his objective. So, Carter never differentiated the work from a book. During after that Carter objectives which had remained unchallenged for long 75 years. Meanwhile, 2 important cataloging code came. One is the ALA 1980 code and next one is the Library of Congress 1949 code. In both of this particular code, the objective of collocations was there. You can see here the objective of collocating related bibliographic items remained one of the shaping forces for the ALA cataloging rules of 1988. Similarly, Library of Congress descriptive cataloging rules of 1949 also introduced a beautiful technique still date we are using in manual cataloging, that is called tracing, to combine related entries. But please note that the relationship were still addressed by these 2 codes at the code development level, but not at the theoretical level until the work of Lubezki and Verona came. Now, what Lubezki said? Lubezki actually given 2 very important concepts. First, he revised Carter's objective, which had remained unchallenged for long 75 years, to reveal to the user of the catalog under one form of the author's name. So, what Carter did? Carter said the finding function first, but here you can see Lubezki revised his cataloging objective to set collocation function first. When you are talking about one form of the author's name, That means all name variants you are gathering together under a singular form of name, and it is a kind of collocation. So collocation become first objective according to Lubezki, and more importantly Lubezki again revived the concept of work from the Panizhi's 91 rules, and he differentiated between the concept of book and work and argued that book and work were coextensive only in the case where a work had been published but once. So in case of a book with a single edition, there is no difference between the book and the work. But in most of the cases in a library, the frequently utilized books have multiple editions, variants of author's name and authorship, varying editorship, different series, different subsidiary authors such as translator, editors, etc. So most of the books which are under heavy use in a typical library are basically belonging to the next group, that is multi editions are there, different versions are there, different translations are there, different authorships and editorships are there. So their book and work are two different concepts. So that is the correction made by the Lubezki on the objectives of library catalog. And one of his greatest contribution in modern days cataloging is the revival of the concept of work. If you go through the library bibliographic data models presently available with us, right from FRBR to XOBIS, XOBIS, all are actually related with the concept of work. But the first formal categorization of bibliographic relationship proposed by Barbara Tillett, as I said, she first given 7 taxonomical bibliographical relationships. These are equivalent relationship between the copies, issues, facsimile, photocopies, etc. Derivative relationship like variation, versions, editions, revisions. Descriptive relationship, description, criticism, evaluation. Whole part or part whole relationship, we already discussed that, series and item belonging to the series. Accompanying relationship, sequential relationship particularly for a monograph series, and shared characteristics relationship. So these 7 taxonomical or categorization of bibliographic relationship first proposed by Barbara Tillett way back in 1987. Then if we come to the modern things related to library catalog like metadata, bibliographic format, bibliographic data models, we can see 6 pairs of relationship are defined inside the Dublin Core metadata, all the DC dot relation metadata element. So these 6 pairs of bidirectional relationships are, you can read here, is part of, has part, is version of, has version. So these 2 different entities can be related in the both way. Entity A is part of entity B. So similarly you can view that entity B has part in entity A. So this is called bidirectional relationship, and all bibliographic relationships are bidirectional in nature. So our modern metadata formats includes this kind of relationship, which is actually can be mapped to the relationship taxonomies given by Barbara Tillett. If we come inside the latest bibliographic data models like FRBR, here also you can see a series of bibliographic relationship proposed, and here you can go through this vocab.arg/FRBR. There will be having all bibliographic relationships. I have given only a few arranged alphabetically. So here you can see that all are actually bidirectional relationship: abridgment, abridgment of, adaptation, adaptation of, and in so way these bibliographic relationship are actually proposed by FRBR. Now how bibliographic data formats like Unimark, CCF, Mark 21 that we utilize inside the library automation software package, are having the concept of bibliographic relationship? Yes, very much. Most of the bibliographic data models can be viewed to have 3 categories of bibliographic relationship. One is the chronological relationship, the relationship in time between bibliographic items, for example the relation of a serial to its predecessor, and successor. This is called chronological relationship. Then comes horizontal relationship, the relationship between version of bibliographic item in different languages, format, media, etc. And vertical relationship, the hierarchical relationship of the whole part or the part whole. So you can see that these all chronological, horizontal and vertical relationship available in the common bibliographic data format like Mark 21, Unimark, CCF, all can be mapped with the Tillet taxonomy as well as the FRBR taxonomy. So Pat Riva in the year 2013 published a document where she actually mapped all Mark 21 related tags with different kind of FRBR relationship types and Tillet taxonomy of bibliographic relationship. So for example, what if we integrate FRBR as a model, RD as a cataloging code, and suppose we are having a particular document related to Harry Potter. So during this with this particular demonstration you can understand a bit that how FRBR group 1 entities like work, expression, manifestations and items are related with each other, and how two different items are related with each other. Say for example, as I talked about a copy of a Harry Potter book. So location is a particular public library, Birbhum District Library. Now this item is identified by unique identifier, for example accession number of that particular book inside that particular library, Birbhum District Library. Now item is basically actually a part of the manifestation. So you can see the work has different expression. One expression can have different manifestation and one manifestation can have different items. So manifestation is basically having following characteristic feature. It has got title, Harry Potter and the order of phonics, identifier, ISBN number, author J.K. Rowling, illustration and who actually done this illustration. Then what is the edition number, first Indian edition, place of publication. These are all you can see somehow bibliographic data item given in Mark 21 or ISBD, but these are all important characteristic feature. These are called FRBR elements. Now how items are in this way related to the manifestation. Say this particular book has got 5 copies inside the library. So all 5 copies are considered as one item, but manifestation is basically is 1, and manifestation is having this kind of characteristics feature. Now how manifestation is related to expression? So if we come down the expression level, say for example this particular edition of Harry Potter book available in English language. So this particular expression in a given language has many characteristics feature: intended audience, content type, language of expression, identifier of the expression, and this expression can finally be related to the work, which is actually the origin of all expression, manifestation and item. So work has again different kind of characteristic feature: author, who is the author, it can be person or corporate body, preferred title for the work, identifier of the work. So in this way, work, expression, manifestations and items are having attribute and related with each other. Now as I said that IFLA, LRM and RDA both said it is the trinity of bibliographic universe. So let us again explore that how this trinity can be very helpful in library retrieval system. And these are the two new tasks, as I said that IFLA LRM proposed. These first 3 is actually proposed by Carter, the same thing we are carrying, the same legacy we are carrying actually, but these two new user tasks introduced by IFLA LRM. So this is actually related to obtain, to access the content of the resource, and as I said, to explore, to discover resources using the relationship between them and thus place the resource in a given context. So if we go into details of this particular user task, you can see what this particular user task is meant for. This particular user task may be supporting browsing, that is relating one resource to another, making unexpected connections, or getting familiar with the resources available for future use. The explore task acknowledges the importance of serendipity in information seeking. To facilitate this kind of information system, we need to support discovery by making relationships, or rather bibliographic relationship, explicit by providing contextual information and navigational facility. So the real challenge for the library OPAC nowadays is how to support the fifth and the final user task as proposed by IFLA LRM, that is navigation based on bibliographic relationship. Meanwhile, to support this particular user task and views, one particular model proposed by again Barbara Tillett and R.J. Murray in 2011, that is called the graph friendly theory of library catalog, where they actually said that work, expression, manifestation and item are related in both ways, that is bidirectional relationship, and they can be attached with a common node by the application of graph theory. For example, you can see here the bidirectional relationship between the work W and expression E. So here you can see work is realized through expression. Similarly, if we can view from the expression, expression is a realization of work. Expression is embodied in manifestation. Manifestation is an embodiment of expression. Manifestation is exemplified by item. Similarly, item is an exemplification of manifestation. So here, for making things easy, I can tell you one particular example. Say for example, you just imagine the work of the drama written by Hamlet. The moment it was in the idea plane of the author Shakespeare, he actually wrote the drama of Hamlet. Now Hamlet has published in different languages, one in English and different translations. So all translation may be considered one expression. Then it can include the video form, the audio form, the theater, the drama, the movie, all are expressions. Now suppose you take the expression written in English language. Now one publisher selected that particular one to selected that one for publication as a book. Now that, or as a drama, so that becomes one particular manifestation. So this way expression is related to manifestation. Now that particular book has got 500 copies, first edition. So all 500 copies are considered as one item. So in this way these are related, and they can be related with a common node, that is called C. Now on the basis of this graph friendly theory of library cataloging as proposed by Murray and Tillett, we can now apply this particular theoretical concept inside a library retrieval system. So you have gone through a journey of almost 200 years, right from the Paniji in 1841 to the graph theory of cataloging in 2019-20. So during this period, lot many changes happened inside the library catalog. So let us now explore how this new development, that is the new user tasks, new bibliographic data model, and new catalog code, new principles, new objectives can help us to develop a particular prototype system that can support bibliographic relationship based navigation. So let us go for a live demonstration of a prototype. So now suppose this is a particular prototype as I was talking about. Now here just like many other retrieval interface, you can search a particular topic, you can browse items, you can browse by collection. So searching and browsing are two primary objectives of a retrieval system. But as I said, the new objective or the new user tasks as proposed by IFLA LRM is to support user with information seeking serendipity. That means to explore different kind of related resources. So suppose this is a particular object. Now this particular object has got the full text, so it's a classical movie in it's a classical novel in Bengali written by Adwaita Mallavarman. It's now copyright free, so the full book we can integrate inside the retrieval system. Now this particular object, bibliographic object or entity, has got many related resources. For example, the cover page illustration, which itself is an object of art, then the author photograph and his brief biography, then the illustrator and so on. So these all these three are related to this particular resource, but in a typical library catalog we simply do not have a way to provide the facility to end user to explore and to discover that this is a particular cover page which is illustrated by a given illustrator, and that illustrator has many other paintings inside library catalog, and that you can also discover. So this kind of unexpected discovery of related resources is called serendipity in information seeking, and that is now the target of IFLA LRM new tasks, that is to explore. Now here you can see, if you go to the upper part of this display, apart from these bibliographical details related on the basis of Dublin Core metadata, this particular retrieval system also provide a thumbnail of relationship graph, graphical navigational facility on the basis of bibliographic relationship. So suppose one user is interested to explore the relationship, that is means to explore different kind of related object with this primary reference object. Now if I click the enlarge button, so this particular graph is now actually trying to show me that this is the primary reference object. It is associated with the two images, and it is also related to a person called Ronen Ayan Dotto. Now the moment I click, now suppose I want to I wish to travel the image related part to explore the what are the object is associated with this particular entity, that is that classical Bengali novel. If I click here, now it can show me, this is a particularly a kind of browsing, but you can see that how I am exploring different kind of unexpected resources, or I can retrieve unexpected resources which is somehow related with each other. Now it is saying that this primary reference object has got two related objects, one is the cover page illustration, one is the author. Again I can move in two ways, I can go by the author way to explore the different kind of things related with the author, like biography, his other works and so on. Now suppose I selected the illustration way. So this is a very interesting illustration, a piece of art I want to explore in this path. So if I click again, so now you see this particular object as an object, that is the cover page illustration is also an object. It is actually described in a domain specific metadata called VRA. So on the basis of VRA this has been described, and it can also produce this thumbnail relationship image. If I again can enlarge, you can see here how it is automatically relating with each other. So this is the illustration, it is related with the primary reference, this is actually written by the author, and this particular piece of art is actually illustrated by this artist, and this artist has got another 6 collections in the library catalog. So a kind of bibliocultural relationships is actually it is supporting, because nowadays people are talking about a larger picture. They are talking about GLAM, gallery, libraries, archives and museum. So that GLAM based bibliocultural relationship is also possible to achieve through different kind of FRPR based relationship or Dublin Core metadata based relationship. Now suppose I want to explore what are the other paintings is available in the library database illustrated by this famous artist. So if I click this 6, so it can now produce me what I can zoom in, or I can zoom out, or I can just click to give in the normal size. So this you can see here, let me increase slightly. So this you can see here, this is our this is our navigational path. This is related with the illustrator. Illustrator has got different other paintings. Any of these I can click and I can explore. So this way, graphically we can represent bibliographic relationship and we can support this. So that's all for this bibliographic relationship based navigation, which is actually supporting the new user tasks as proposed by IFLA LRM in this particular OPAC enhancement group of deliberation. Thank you very much.